Whether you're trying to land a better job, see the world, or just meet new people, there's one language that just opens more doors than any other, and that's English. It has, for all intents and purposes, become the unofficial language of our planet.
Just let this number sink in for a moment. 1.5 billion. That's how many people right now are actively learning English. That's nearly a fifth of the entire world's population, all trying to learn the exact same language. I mean, the scale of that is just mind-blowing. So, that leads us to the big question, right? How did this even happen? How did a language that started out so small, spoken by just a few tribes, become this absolute giant that dominates global communication, while literally thousands of other languages have faded away? Well, that's the incredible story we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, to really get how we got here, we need to jump in a time machine and rewind the clock way, way back to a time when English was, believe it or not, anything but a global language.
So picture this, it's 1,500 years ago. The languages that really mattered, the ones running the world, were the languages of empire and religion. We're talking Latin, Greek, Chinese, Arabic. In English, it was just a minor dialect spoken by a handful of people on a pretty remote island. It wasn't even a blip on the radar.
So what was the first big thing that changed all that? What was the spark? Well, it all started with the rise of a massive empire and its secret weapon. Starting back in the 1600s, Great Britain built one of the most powerful navies the world had ever seen. This let them sail everywhere, establish colonies, and build an empire that stretched across the globe. And, of course, wherever the British went, the English language went with them. But here's the really crucial part. Even after these countries became independent, English often stuck around. It became the language of the new governments, of the schools, and of business. That's what planted the very first global seeds of the language.
But look, the British Empire only set the stage. The event that would truly launch English into the stratosphere wouldn't happen for a few hundred years. And it was all about the rise of a new global superpower, the United States.
All right, let's fast forward to 1945. World War II has just ended. Much of Europe, which had been home to the world's great powers, is in ruins. Their economies are broken, their cities destroyed. But across the ocean, one country came out of the war stronger than ever, America. While everyone else was rebuilding, the U.S. economy was absolutely booming. It had the biggest industries, the best technology, and a powerful, stable government.
And with that incredible power came incredible influence. America's new role as the leader of the free world kicked off a second, even more powerful wave of English dominance that would shape the entire modern world. So how exactly did America spread its language so far, so fast? Well, when you really break it down, it all comes down to 5 powerful pillars that are still holding English up as the top language today.
And here they are, the 5 pillars: money, entertainment, the internet, science, and politics. Let's take a quick look at how each one played a huge role.
Okay, first up, money. After the war, the US dollar became the world's reserve currency. So when countries trade oil, they use dollars. When international banks do business, it's in dollars. And since money talks, the language of global finance and business naturally became English. If you want to play in the big leagues of international business, English is a must-have.
Pillar number 2 is entertainment. Think about it. Hollywood movies, American pop music, TV shows, they went everywhere. The world fell in love with American culture. And the coolest part? People started picking up English without even trying. They learned it from their favorite movies and the lyrics to their favorite songs.
Third, we've got the internet. When the internet was born, it was basically an American project. The first websites, the code it was built on, the giant tech companies like Microsoft and Google, it was all developed in English. And even today, more than half of all the content on the entire internet is in English. It's the default language of the digital world.
The fourth pillar is science and innovation. Right now, the most groundbreaking scientific papers, the biggest tech conferences, and the top universities in the world, they all operate primarily in English. So if you're a scientist or an innovator and you make a huge breakthrough, you have to publish it in English for the rest of the world to see it.
And finally, number 5, politics. English is the language of global diplomacy. At the United Nations, it's one of the main working languages. Huge international alliances like NATO use English as their official language, and when world leaders from different countries get together, guess what language they often use to talk to each other directly? Yep, English.
So, after this incredible journey, driven by empires and superpowers, you have to ask the question,
Is this it? Is English going to be the world's #1 language forever?
Well, let's look at the competition. You've got Mandarin Chinese, which has the most native speakers on Earth, but it's famously difficult for outsiders to learn. Then there's Spanish, which is spoken all over the world, but it doesn't quite have the same grip on global business and tech. And what about AI translation? It's getting better, for sure, but we're not there yet. People still prefer to communicate directly, human to human.
The strange reality is that English isn't just holding on to its top spot. Its influence is actually growing. The demand to learn it is higher than ever, as more countries make it a required subject in school and more global companies make it their official language. And that really gets us to the most important point of all. At this stage, English isn't really just a language anymore. It's become a global skill. It's like knowing how to use a computer. It's a tool that gives you access to more jobs, more knowledge, and more connections. It has truly become the language of opportunity.
So for now, and for the foreseeable future, English is the key that unlocks the world. But the real question is, for how long? Looking way down the road, what do you think will be the next language of global opportunity?